Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sunday Night Live. It is the zoo, and we're off. Right out the gate, I want everyone to note, I have not unsubscribed anyone. YouTube is doing that. I have not unbelled anyone. YouTube is doing that. And I put out 3 posts today and told YouTube we're going live. And they didn't send out notifications. I wonder if that means they don't like our free speech. If they could, folks, they would just silence us all. They'd be like, silence! We censor you! That's what they do. They don't like us because, well, we talk about facts. Uncomfortable facts. Facts that they don't like. And interestingly, we're not even allowed to use facts, are we? No, we're not. So, hey, if you're just now getting notification, just rewind the script a little bit, go backwards a little bit, and start over, and you'll hear a great message. Hit the thumbs up button. That's like telling YouTube, hey, thumbs up to you, fingers up to you also. Do that. Let them have it. Let them know what you think. Also, you have a job here. Now, I have everybody, it seems like, on the weekend sending me messages telling me how to make the show better, telling me what I need to talk about. I tell you what, you got this. Right, exactly. I got this. You guys, you got your job, and that's humor in the comments, great topics, super chats, right? And sharing this internet address right up there. I need you to share that thing far and wide. Let's get people here live. Let's get people awake. I tell you what, folks, I am one motivated dog, right? I can be howling at the moon and barking all night, and I'm going to start with this here 18-year Glenlivet Scotch. Every $50 or more super chat donation buys one of these. I tell you what, I need it after this weekend. Wow, right out the gate, that is good stuff. You know what? I think as the medicine goes to work, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. Now, I hope you liked the thumbnail, that picture that's up on YouTube telling you what the video's about. That's right. I want to make sure everyone understands what sheep vitamins are. Let's see, because there's some topics I can't talk about. Things that start with the letter V, A, X. I can't talk about those, but I can talk about vitamins. And anyone who does what they're told, who obeys without question, that is definitely a sheep. So the people out there who are not preppers, sheep. People out there who do as they're told without question, sheep. People out there who don't use their own brain, sheep. And I tell you what, it's not good to be a sheep, folks. Not good at all. So let's remember, if you've got something to say, if you want to chime in, if you want to, be made famous, get your question in. Hit the super chat button right up here. And there's also CashApp, Venmo, and PayPal. Those 3 things there will get your question right up here, or super chat button. And I want to thank everybody on the preparedmind.club, everybody on subscribestar.com, the Prepared Mind over there. If you're going to those places and signing up for the premium service, I want to thank you. And this is the zoo, where we take all of that and we combine it with YouTube into a big ball, and we throw all that shit right back at the social media companies, the mainstream media, and Washington, D.C. Oh, don't worry. We also want to pick on the states that are extremely liberal, like this, folks. Governor Newsom in California, my former home state, California. Governor Newsom is trying to sue. He wants to sue, or is he actually filing papers to sue oil companies because they are lying about what they're doing to stop climate change. Right? I want to ask this question. Whose policies are doing more damage to the state? Right now, Los Angeles in California is going to spend, get this, $44,000 for every tent, per tent, $44,000 per tent. And they're making a homeless village. That's right. If you're homeless in LA, your tent is costing $44,000. They're saying they're temporary. Well, of course, it's just a tent. This is how California blows money. They lie to the people. I mean, how much damage has Governor Newsom done? Well, I'm just going to bring this up. Record forest fire destruction. Literal cities and housing burning to the ground. And Newsom does nothing until the fire's out so he can show up for a photo op. And he wants to say that oil companies are liars and is therefore time to sue them for fires and brownouts and damage in the state, while these idiots blow money left and right. $44,000 per village, per tent in the homeless village. Folks, this is why you're here. This is why you know you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. This is, and you notice how I'm very safe with my finger weapons, because fingers are dangerous. Remember when that little boy was thrown out of school, suspended, or was he expelled because he pointed his finger? Another kid bit his toast into the shape of a toast gun. Look out. I'm very safe with this because, you know, Alec Baldwin, if he got a hold of one of these, pretty dangerous stuff. He could cause some trouble. Anyways, you know to go to thepreparedmind.club. We're not a store. We're not a warehouse. We don't ship anything, but we have codes or clicks that you click on. That code will send you to someone else's store, someone else's warehouse, someone else's website where you can buy what we recommend. I recommend you get prepared. I recommend it right now, folks, because idiots like Gavin Newsom are trying to destroy everything they can get their hands on. Mr. Uman, I've got a special request for you right now, because we're talking about states and government that is just absolutely destructive and why people need to be well prepared and armed. I think it's somewhere up in the Washington, Seattle, or Portland, Oregon area. They want to do something. They want more cops on the street. Isn't that interesting? But who is qualified? They want more law enforcement. They want more protection. So who are we putting up there, Mr. Uman? Do we have it in the comments section? Nope. No, it's not there. Maybe Mr. Uman can find that for us and jam it up there. I would love to see it, because it's a topic that'll make you scratch your head and just go, what are they talking about now? So before we get to that, I'm going to jump all the way from the West Coast. Oh, there. Oh, I'll tell you what, Mr. Uman, let's do yours first. Since I brought the topic up. In Portland, Mayor Ted Wheeler is the mayor of Portland, who back in 2020 had his home invaded by Antifa and BLM. They went into his building, went up to his apartment / condo, and took over. They kicked him out of his own building. That's who this guy is. He is an incredible socialist, yet Antifa still said, hey, you're not socialist enough. We want you to destroy the police. That's what they were demanding. Finally, the police showed up and kicked them out of the mayor's home. So this same idiot, Ted Wheeler, is set on contracting with San Francisco-based nonprofit Urban Alchemy. This is a group that hires formerly incarcerated individuals to patrol troubled areas. Formerly incarcerated means felons who have been captured, tried, found guilty, and served time. They are at the top tier of criminals. This area includes armed robbery, grand theft auto, bank robbery, assault, attempted murder, and actual murder. Those are the people, folks, at this level that we're talking about, formerly incarcerated. I don't think they're talking about someone who 10 years ago stole a candy bar back when you could be arrested for it. Anyways, the claim coming from Urban Alchemy is that the people that they're hiring to patrol troubled areas, because of their criminal experience, their incarceration, being surrounded by scum, being scum themselves, they are best suited to patrol areas and deal with crime. Now, a question I have is, do they have policing powers? Can they arrest people? Since they're felons, convicted felons, I don't think they're allowed to possess firearms and use firearms, even in a pseudo law enforcement role. But sometimes I wonder, they probably understand the law pretty good now, since they've been exposed to it and punished by it so bad. They may know the Constitution better than many policemen out there, who don't seem to understand the First, Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendments, not to mention the Seventh and the Ninth and the 10th. There it is, though. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler says, I know, let's hire felons, convicts. That'll fix our troubled problems here in Portland. Wow, unbelievable. And now, Mr. Uman, now we can fly from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, to the great state of Delaware. Yeah, that's Joe Biden's home state, folks, Delaware. So what's going on there? Very interesting. There's a man there standing out on the street, wearing pistols on his belt, and holding up signs over his head that are, well, at the very least, abrasive and not complimentary to Joe Biden. And I want to say this guy has really big balls, and kudos to him just for doing this. I would never do it, because they would probably say, hey, that's illegal. You're threatening. Your guns are threatening to the president. But that's what this guy did. His sign that he held up, folks. Bidens are criminals. 20 shell companies? Where's the laptop? And 10% for the big guy. That's his big sign he's wearing. He's got a yellow kind of one of those road construction vests on. The neon yellow and orange safety vests, so he can lawfully protest near Joe Biden's home. Delaware, by the way, Delaware Patriot knows this, right? Delaware is an open carry state. So this is great. This guy is open carrying, wearing his vest and protesting on the side of the road. He is a candidate for being stopped, have some questions asked by one of these urban renewal felony asshole cops. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not cops. They're not law enforcement. They're just citizens patrol. Citizens patrol. Yeah, no worries. We got this, man. We got this. Anyways, it is Sunday Night Live. It is the Zoo. This is your show. What do you want to talk about? Super chat buttons right up there. What is on your mind? Where are you thinking things are going? Are things getting better for you? Or do you have a big smile on your face every day when you wake up and you get your newspaper? Oh, wait, do they even do that anymore? It's incredible what is going on out there. But right now we're in the zoo, me and you, all of us. Now, if you haven't done it, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't done it, hit the subscribe button. In fact, hit the subscribe button, turn it off. Maybe it says unsubscribe. Hit that, turn it off, turn it on. Hit the bell a few times. Bing, bing, bing. Make it go off and on and off and on until it stays on. And then try that. And let's see if you get notifications. But for now, let's do some super chat donations. Jolene, who wants to step up first And it is Frankie Rios with a $10 super chat donation. He says, hey, Elon Musk stopped World War III once, withholding Starlink, but it is now in the hands of the Pentagon. All right. Yeah, this is not widely reported, that there was a lot of chatter, a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, right, that they were going to have a nuclear exchange. And so Elon Musk shut down, or someone there under his direction with his authority shut down Starlink. Starlink is the low altitude satellite system that they use to relay internet and communications all over the planet. So they've got a bunch of Starlink over the top of Ukraine. And it started getting pretty crazy, folks, pretty crazy. And I want to talk about this. I want to talk about what is going on over there. We've got war breaking out in Europe farther and wider than hoped. Africa, in the Niger situation, is getting very nasty. And over the weekend, I don't know if you paid attention, but I did. China is rattling its sabers. It is wanting to take Taiwan. It's threatening other nations. And it is even, how do we say this, becoming aggressive with the United States and the People's Liberation Army and their use of traditional and non-traditional confrontational propaganda. They're pushing for war with us. Now, believe it or not, China is in very, very bad shape economically. But they're continuing to buy gold hand over fist. They're continuing to stock up on resources. For example, did you know that China has massive amounts of coal being shipped there? Because they don't have their own coal. They don't have their own oil. So they're shipping it, and they're building and continuing to build massive storage facilities. In addition to energy, they, I believe, own 95% of copper that is out there on the planet, that's in the market, right? Copper reserves. I read that. I thought 95. Are they sure? Are they sure they don't mean 55 or maybe 65? Supposedly, right, we have reserves, right? Stockpiles, if you will. I mean, you have vaults full of gold and silver, but when it comes to other commodities, yeah, they keep them stockpiled. So zinc, cobalt, nickel, you name it. China is saving everything they can while their country starts to disintegrate down. Our country is disintegrating downward. We've got inflation going crazy. We've got the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, going crazy with higher interest rates. Interest rates this country hasn't seen, folks, since, well, I'm going to go all the way back to the late 80s now at the interest rates we're at. Late 80s, early 90s. We were on a interest downward cycle, and now they've spun it back up. It took them about 30 years to get to where we're at and 1 year to get back. It's a pretty powerful punch to the economy, and it's hurting us. Anyways, Frankie Rios, Elon Musk stopped World War III once. I hope that people with power who are on the good guy side continue to do good guy things. Continue. And you guys who support this channel by being members, by being on the preparedmind.club or Subscribestar, members here on YouTube, and for doing super chat donations, you keep this channel going. And your donations can't go without them. Can't do it. I'm already working. Fuck. I work my ass off to help support the channel too. We are all doing it, and we all have to keep doing it. Truly, truly. And we've got Jolene, we've got Uman behind the scenes, and Uman sometimes comes out in front of the scenes, and we've got more to do. Jolene, who is up next? Who's got a super chat donation? Something to say? Holy bananas, it's Chin Music in the house with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he says, John. Now remember, folks, Chin Music is in the great state of Texas. Great state of Texas. He says, John, A local NBC crew was at a store doing a story on theft last Friday. As I walked by, I said, "Pay attention, class. See if you can guess what the commies are lying about today." Several laughs. Mockery fever is starting. Dude. Oh, how did you get so lucky, man? That's classic. Walking by, trolling the news crew. I've got to repeat this. I've got to read it again, Chin. You deserve the Prepared Mind Gold Star. You do. Now, as you know, someone like AOC, she gets the horse's ass. Because like a horse, she can eat an apple through a picket fence, and she truly is ungifted up here. But you, my friend, I need to get a trophy for people who do things like that. Pay attention, class. See if you can guess what the commies are lying about today. That's brilliant, man. God, I wish I could have been there for that. Those are golden moments in our lives. Golden moments right there. Mockery fever is starting. Yeah, we know better. We all know better, Chin. People don't watch the news because they know it is nothing but lies. And we all know they're a bunch of stinking, lying, socialist, commie, fascist scumbags, all of them. And they have managed to combine fascism and communism together. This is something I've debated with myself personally. And since I am the master of debate, I master debated myself all over this one. Can you combine communism and fascism? Can you do that? Right? They're both socialism. It's just, well, fascism allows wealthy corporations and wealthy people to continue to own property and become more wealthy. So they've managed to do that successfully in China. China's communist, yet people and corporations can make money there. So it's kind of more of a fascist system on the economic side. Yet the People's Liberation Army, whew, you should hear some of the things they're saying. Not good. And they are commies, folks. I'm glad you got some laughs as you walked by there, man. That is awesome, Chin. That is awesome. Semper Fi on that one. A gold star and a participation award for Chin Music. Yes, sir. At the very least. And Randall Lowe he snuck in a super chat comment. Nice one. Very nice. That actually makes my heart feel good, Chin. Thank you, sir. I needed that. It's just been one of those freaking weekends. I had a relaxing day, on the weekend as normal. It's just something's just eating away at me. Something's pissing me off. It just really could, right? I mean, I got this story while I'm waiting for the next super chat. I'm going to go over something real fast. This story should have made me happier, but then it didn't, but then it did. So they took a poll. They took a poll of Americans and they were asked if they think biological men, regardless of what they identify as, if biological men should be allowed to compete in women's sports. And I was like, okay, man, what is this number going to be? Turns out a major, vast, huge, super majority of Americans don't think biological men, whether they've cut their penis off or not, whether they've taken enough estrogen or not, doesn't matter. They shouldn't be allowed. The number is greater than 70%, folks. And I think they're lying. I think a lot of these people that said, it's okay. I think that biological men should be allowed to compete with women. I think they did that because they're a bunch of cowards. I said it there. I really think that they're cowards, and they probably said yes because they want to sound good when they're taking a poll. But 70% did say no. So the number is greater, and it could be far greater. Meaning, folks, if half the country is Republican, conservative, That means half the Democrats out there, half the Democrats say no, they shouldn't. So there's a schism, folks, and continues to be one on the left. Remember, folks, they are all about divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Even within the LGBT community, they hate each other. They're divisive. So it shouldn't be surprising, yet I am surprised. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, how bad was this? What was this number a year ago or 2 years ago, before all of the violence came, before transgender people were threatening people with guns, killing Christians, killing children, killing their parents? What was that number a couple of years ago? Has it gone down? I would think so. Now, let's get into a little bit of World War III. I want to know what you think about World War III. Engage in conversation down below. Talk to each other responsibly about nuclear war. And if you've got something that you think I should say, something the rest of the world should hear, if you've got an idea, a concept about, the past, the future, anything, Super Chat donation gets your question on the board, and it supports this channel. It goes into the GTFB and SB fund, because I ain't going to stay here as long as you guys want me. If not, otherwise, I'll go back to the RMZ and pour myself a pina colada, listen to the late, great Jimmy Buffett, swing in a cot back and forth under the palm trees and just fucking chill. But I don't think that's really the best use of my talents. World War III. In the Republican Party, folks, in the Senate, the U.S. Senate, the Republicans do not control that body. But there are enough senators on the Republican side that could push our country into a nuclear war with Russia. So you've got Senators Cotton, Wicker, Collins, and of course, lighting the loafers, Lindsey Graham. Now, first off, Senator Cotton, he has been on the correct side of many items. I think he's stepped over the line here, and he's doing himself dirty in America too. I'll tell you what it is he wants. Wicker, I've never heard of this son of a bitch. And Susan Collins, she was right up there, I think, with Olympia Snow out of the great state of who gives a fuck, Maine. But those four, Cotton, Wicker, Collins, and Lindsey Graham, they're telling Joe Biden to do something very dangerous. They don't just want him to send missile systems to Ukraine, folks. They want tactical missile. Tactical missile. What is a tactical missile? A tactical nuclear missile? They're a little bit vague on this one. A little bit vague. We've been sending them tactical missiles and long-range missiles. Right? They want to send the MGM-140 Army Tactical Missile Systems. They argue, these senators, that not doing so will prolong the war and that doing this will save lives. Well, hell, why don't we just send them tactical nukes then too, right? These senators are arguing together against getting out of Ukraine. They're asking for more war. And they say, look, it only requires a small portion of our stockpiled ATA CMSs. That's the tactical missile systems, folks. And the United States can easily replenish its inventory. Well, sure, all you got to do is give these missile system companies a shit pile of money, and they'll make whatever you want. But already, did we or did we not learn, and I reported on Friday, that Russia is outbuilding its its missile and military arsenal 7-1 over the top of us. Did we or did we not hear from Joe Biden, the idiot himself, months ago, who said, yeah, our military's running low on stuff that we keep sending over there. So they want to send more. And then they're saying, oh, yeah, we can easily replenish this. And did we or did we not learn that the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, has started a company that goes and promotes, pushes for, advises the U.S. government on its weapons and delivering weapons over to Ukraine? Now, why don't we just give them tactical nukes? Hell, if you give them, tactical nukes are not the big ones, folks. They're the little ones, right? It's not a huge mushroom cloud that can take out a whole city. It's little mushroom clouds that can be targeted at the Russians. Wouldn't that scare the Russians a lot more? Wouldn't that kill them a lot better? It's tactical, very tactical, like the tactical missile systems they want. Instead of just sending in tactical missiles, why not send in tactical nuclear missiles? Folks, we shouldn't give nukes to Nazis. They could hold Europe and the United States of America hostage by keeping tactical nukes and threatening us. But, hey, what the hell? Why not? If we're going to give them these other missiles and long-range missiles, we can trust them, right? Oh, wait, didn't they lob a couple of missiles into Poland and Romania? Folks, they can't even figure out how to use tanks and helicopters, but they understand tactical military systems. Who's going to train them on this? Who's going to hold them accountable? Who is going to hold them accountable and give back what our missile systems when they're done and they finally get their asses kicked enough that they're done and ready to quit? Who's going to go get these systems back? Or are these systems going to show up in Syria, Lebanon, Turkey? Are these missile systems, these tactical army missile systems, are they going to show up in drug cartels in Central America and Mexico? Can we trust them? Really, we can? Really, right? I tell you what. Woo! All right, folks. Guess what? We got a super chat donation coming from Darcy T. I guess I didn't check my email well enough. Jolene just let me know. So here it is, Darcy. You bought my second Scotch of the night. And boy, can I use it. We're 30 minutes in our 2-hour show, folks. Lots to talk about. Darcy T, thank you. Semper Fi, God bless you. And down the hatch. As smooth as silk, nourishing as mother's milk. There we go. Woo! Thank you, Darcy T. Now, she says, hey, good evening, John. Here's some dough for the cookie jar. Darcy, where's the question? Where's the comment? Where's the thought? You've always got good stuff when you decide to send it. You can put it in there anywhere you want. And between Jolene and Uman, they'll extract it and we'll put it on the screen. Whatever is, itching the old thinking, right? Whatever's on your mind. Now, I just went up and went over the desire by these rhino Republicans. Now, Cotton usually isn't one, but the other ones, right? All they want is war. Really? When worlds collide, folks, and when tards collide, we have nothing but trouble. Let me get it to you this way. There's an advisor to Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. That's right. The exalted high ruler of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. He's got an advisor named Podolyak. Podolyak? It looks like Poodleyak to me. Anyways, this guy says that China and India have, quote, low intellectual potential. China and India have low intellectual potential. I believe that both India and China have launched satellites. I believe India and China have both sent rovers to the moon. Nobody's able to send human beings to the moon because of that thing called the Van Allen radiation belts. But you can send, I would think, remote-controlled rovers to the moon. Both countries have nuclear weapons. Both countries have nuclear power. Ukraine doesn't have any of those things. Well, they might have nuclear power, except the one they lost in Zaporizhia. But they certainly don't have a space program. So this idiot says that these countries that have that have low intellectual potential. And then realizing he sounds like a complete idiot, right? Poodle yak just goes and sticks his foot in his mouth, trying to fix things, trying to make a clarification. It sounds like Kamala has a friend and a colleague in this clown, folks. When tards collide, we've got that kind of trouble. Who else does Ukraine have as a spokesman? That's right, a trans army, a U.S. army who is trans, who dresses in communist-style attire and makes tall claims and how they're going to silence anyone with opposing views. It's the world we got, folks. It's the world we have. And we want to give them more weapons. How many more billions? I believe Zelensky was supposed to ask for another $20 to $25 billion. Well, that was Friday before Joe Biden left for another vacation. Good God, what's going on in our country? If you just showed up, if you showed up late, if you didn't hear the message, be sure and hit the thumbs up. Do that. Be sure and hit the notification bell down here. A lot of people did not get notified that this video was going live today. It's the zoo. It's Sunday Night Live. We're always live. But YouTube wanted to put a stop to that. Also, internet address up there. Grab it, email it, text it, share it, get it out there. People need to wake up. We need to get up to 400 people live at the very least on this show right now, and we can get there if you make it happen, folks. Once again, I'm just the guy sitting in this chair. I'm just that guy, but it's up to you to make shit happen. So, super chat donation. Pow. Jolene, who do we got up? We got Chin Music. He's back with a $4.99 super chat donation. And he says, a little chance to help cover the cost of my participation trophy. Semper Fi, Tiny. Thanks, man. Poof, muscle arms. I appreciate it, Chin Music. Participation trophy. That's good stuff. Thank you so much. I do need another trophy. The horse's ass trophy is wonderful. Wonderful. But I need to get some good guy trophies. I'd never thought of that until you let us know what you did. That was interesting. So it is time now to play Let's Take a Wild Guess on this Sunday Night Live Zoo episode. Dr. Grouchies. Don't forget, folks, be sure and get your your sheep vitamins. Remember who the sheep are. And since I can't say the other V word, I call them vitamins now. Anyways, sheep vitamins, be sure and get them. Well, here you go. Here's someone who got his sheep vitamins, maybe. You make the call. You decide. Now, I talk about kids who play sports. They're rugged. They're tough. They're out there doing it. And then you've got adults who have gone through their childhood and they've become super athletes. Their bodies are like tuned biological carbon-based machines, right? Former NBA player. His name is Brandon Hunter. Former NBA, age 42. Well, he is a super athlete who is now into yoga. That's right. But at age 42, at yoga, he collapsed and then he died. That's right, folks. Apparently, you can yoga yourself to death. Or could it have been something else? You make the call. You make the decision right out of the old Pfizer files. There we go. And another Pfizer file. I've never heard of this guy in my life. I have no idea. I don't even know actors anymore. But apparently, Bob Odenkirk. What does he start in? Oh, man. What? Bob Odenkirk. Who is he? What does he start in? Is he famous? Is that Captain Picard's actual real name? Or I don't know. Anyways, this actor, Bob Odenkirk, has come out and admitted that he rejected advice from his physician. And he had a heart attack. I wonder what advice he ignored from his own physician. His physician, folks, by the way, happens to have been conservative. Take a wild guess there. I mean, if I tell you what, I don't listen to doctors. I know there's great conservative doctors out there. There are. And I'm sure there's at least one or two decent left-wing Democrat doctors out there who know their ass from a hole in the ground, but I don't listen to them anymore. I am not a sheep. I mean, if a conservative doctor, someone I know is a conservative, wants to have a conversation, well, I'll engage into that conversation, but I do not worship physicians. I don't worship doctors. I don't go, well, you're the doctor. I'm going to do anything you say. Why the fuck would anyone do that? Well, for Bob Odenkirk, perhaps it might have been a better idea for him to do just that. As an actor, I'm sure he's a liberal. And as an actor, he has now suffered a heart attack because he didn't listen to a doctor giving him what appears to be sound advice. How much more bad advice are we getting, folks? Well, we're about to get a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Now, last week we reported that Providence Hospital System, well, they came out and said that sheep vitamins was mandatory. Well, they've clarified that. What that means is they've backpedaled. Providence Hospital Systems has made a clarification, which means they didn't like the fact that people were probably calling them on the phone and going, fuck you people. What they have said now is that there's no mandates. Look, when they say it's mandated, that's what it means, mandated. No, we didn't mean that, you bunch of sillies. Quote, caregivers can choose to decline to take their sheep vitamins. That's what they're saying now. Folks, this is a case of backlash properly done by you guys. Good job, America. No sheep vitamins are needed. Sheep vitamins are for sheep. Free people do not need that stuff. They don't. Not going to take it. Wouldn't be prudent. Anyways, I really hope you guys are having a ton of fun out there in the comments section. I hope you're sharing this video with that address right up there. And make sure you have hit that thumbs up button. Hit it, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Fuck with YouTube. Give them a hard time. They deserve it. They've earned it. I tell you what, social media, folks, they have really, really done everything they can to take advantage of us. Our good natures, our generosity. We've put away regular TV, NBC, ABC, CBS, even cable TV, satellite TV, and said, no. We like the internet. And then social media turns around and just backstabs the shit out of us. Thank you very much. So let's do this. Another super chat donation. Who do we got? Jolene, Mr. Uman. We've got Luke Thompson with an awesome $10 super chat donation. He said, spend this money on Jolene's favorite ice cream. What? Do they make Scotch flavored ice cream? Someone. Stat. Give me that answer. Okay, there it is, Luke. And there Jolene says, thanks. I don't even know. Jolene may not eat ice cream. She might be lactose intolerant. Maybe she needs a margarita. Thank you, Luke, very much. Thoughts, Luke, beyond ice cream? Anything you want? Anything you want? Now, I'm going to kind of combine a couple of stories here. I love being the host of the show. I have the most latitude here. We mentioned Ukraine saying that, well, in India, they don't quite have the brains to deal with stuff. Well, something did happen in India, folks, and the sheep are very nervous. Very, very, very nervous. The sheep are scared in India. I really hope the people of India wake up. The Nipah, Nipah. Have you ever heard of that? I've never heard of that. Doesn't sound like cerveza bug to me. I've never heard of the Nipah cold. I can't use the V word. The Nipah cold. They're apparently having an outbreak. And so in India, they're now shutting down and creating containment zones. The reason I bring this up is I like the Hindi people. I think they're great. Got no problem with them. They haven't done anything to me. And the ones that I've met in my life tend to be pretty intelligent people. But I got to tell you, it's not the fact that this is happening in India or that there's sheep over there, lots of sheep that are very, very nervous and scared sheep. It's what the country's doing that bothers me. Shutdowns we've already had, but something called containment zones is what bothered me about this story. I'd like you to think about your area. Containment zones. I remember talking with Chris B. Bacon back during the 2020 cerveza bug lockdowns, and he was in the Chicago area, and they would shut down ways in and out of the city. I got reports from other people as well. Containment zones where they can say, whoa, that's the area where bad stuff is at right over there. And so we're going to create a containment zone to protect everyone else. We're going to lock you down. The idea of that being done here in America, because, Joe Biden, when there's a pandemic, his patience is growing thin, especially when the world keeps asking about Hunter Biden and his arrest and his indictment and his crimes. But Joe Biden could lose his cool, folks. I don't trust federal government, state government, or even local government. A containment zone to me sounds like a way to barricade people in. It's interesting, during 2020, we had people barricading people out. Most notably the police. Remember they had the Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle, and it was left alone by the police. The police didn't go in the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone until the Antifa and Black Lives Matter people threatened the mayor, who then got on her telephone and called the police and said, enough of this shit now, and got rid of the barricades and cleaned it up and kicked all the bums out. The government, folks, at every level, local, as I just described, state, kind of like Governor Gretchen the Grinch Whitmore up in Michigan. She tried locking down the whole state, but containment zones. How about conservative containment zones? How about re-education containment zones? Watch the movie Free Jack. If you've never seen it, it's worth watching because it has zones for people to live in. Again, that's a kind of a dystopian sci-fi movie. It was an action movie, a lot of good stuff in it, but very interesting. It had, Rene Russo and Sir Anthony Hopkins and Emilio Estevez, as well as Mick Jagger. Very entertaining movie. Make you think. All right, let's have some more fun. Do we ever get too much fun? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Now, last week we had something interesting happen. Some goofball man armed himself Well, he did that after he got a U.S. Marshal's badge, a federal ID, and he put on a uniform, and he then put on his gun. And he tried to get into Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That'd be JFK's nephew. He appeared in Los Angeles, and this clown showed up trying to infiltrate security. Now remember, folks, RFK Jr. is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s son, J. F. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, his nephew. RFK is now running for president. He wants to be the Democrat, but he is a threat to the establishment, to the deep state, if you want to use that term. He's a threat. He's a loose cannon. And now some ding-dong has showed up with a gun and a uniform trying to sneak in there. Quite interesting. What was he going to do there, folks? Robert F. Kennedy, RFK Jr.'s dad, was killed by a lone assassin named Sirhan Sirhan. So I do not think RFK Jr., fucking computer, I tell you, I'm trying to erase my shit. I think he's probably pretty wary about assassins since both his dad and his uncle were killed back in the 60s. Now, what possibly could Robert Kennedy Jr. do? RFK Jr. Well, he has proposed a plan, folks, and I agree with this plan 100%. And the establishment, the New World Order, deep state, will assassinate this idea instantly. And if they don't assassinate it, they may assassinate any proponent for it. Here's what RFK says, quote, everyone will have to prove their identity before they vote. That's right, folks. He's got a plan to prevent election and voter fraud. That's a good one. I kind of like it. I like the idea of every voter having to prove who they are and where they live with an identification. I also think that if anyone is caught lying, producing a false identification card or license, I think they ought to be thrown in jail right then and there. Former gubernatorial candidate Kerry Lake from Arizona is continuing to sue the shit out of people and win. There continues to be election problems in Georgia, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, coming to light. And here we are, folks, just over 1 year away from the next presidential election. This has not been settled. What does that tell you? The courts have failed. The courts have failed. If they can't get to something this freaking important any faster, I know it's been held up, obstacles with liberal communist judges. We have politicians out there and district attorneys arresting people, including members of the media, for saying that the election was stolen last time. We have some states that have initiated anti-election and anti-voter fraud. We've had several electronic balloting machines. There are companies coming out and discovering, hey, their standard employees can get in there and change results. They can be hacked. They can go online. People can upload and download votes into them. I can't think of a worse program to have than to involve computers in our elections. That makes any left-wing nerd a potential terrorist when it comes to this stuff. So let me ask the question of why is Robert Kennedy Jr., why is he concerned about election integrity? Well, right now, he can't get elected. He cannot become the charismatic Democrat candidate for office because they're not going to let him. So he feels that he's being cheated. How would he feel, though, if he were the presidential candidate for the Democrats versus Trump? A lot of people don't realize, don't remember, don't know, haven't been informed that back in 1960, when his uncle, John F. Kennedy, he was elected, it was decided in the state of Illinois, and there were huge amounts of fraud that were complained about. It's been around a long time, folks, cheating. Interesting, though, that John F. Kennedy, who benefited from Union Mafia cheating tactics, right? We've come full circle, folks, full circle. And speaking of circling back, I want to check with you on your sheep vitamins. Are you going to comply? Are you going to obey? Or are you going to be an American, a rugged individual, and prep with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Are you going to disobey? Are you going to hide in your home? Are you going to go out in public without a mask and say, can't stop me? Are you going to risk getting kicked out of a supermarket or a restaurant, or possibly even, folks, being arrested for noncompliance? Well, it seems to me that President Trump is really stepping it up. And even General Michael Flynn, who was railroaded by the FBI, lied to by the FBI, went to jail, right? Because, well, he thought that they had integrity and they didn't. Anyways, General Flynn said he's not going to comply with the sheep vitamin and all the other hysteria that's being pushed by the media, by the Democrats, by Biden. I'm waiting and wondering when he is going to be arrested for disinformation and misinformation, right? For being a powerful influence over people's thinking. I find it fascinating that Trump, after his his Operation Warp Speed faux pas screw up, is now telling people to not comply. Am I wrong? Or is Trump actually telling people don't comply? Don't buy their shit? We're going to get into one hell of a huge situation. Like I've met many people who took it last time. Thank you, Jolene. I met many people who took their sheep vitamins on the last go round. And this time they're saying, not going to do it. Not going to take a chance. I don't know what I've done to my body. Could have really damaged it. Not doing it again. They're going to find out, folks. All right, let's do this. We are 1 hour into the show. Another super chat donation coming from you guys. Who's it going to be? Pow. It is Bioxo77 with a $9.99 super chat donation. And trust me, folks, they add up. My favorite number, of course, is 556, but hey, sometimes 762. I've been known to see a 30-6 around here. Anyways, Bioxo says, didn't RFK Jr. say that climate change deniers should be thrown in jail or worse? Yet he's against the Jim Jones juice. I'm kind of shocked he believes in some science and not others. Very true. This selective choosing of intelligent thought. It just goes to show that some people, I don't know, I'm going to use Senator Cotton, for example, because he has said some things that make a whole lot of sense. You know, he's a senator in the U.S. Senate, but now he wants to give advanced tactical missile weaponry to the Ukraine military. But in other times, he appears to exercise a high degree of intelligence. Now, I believe you're correct in that RFK Jr. said climate change deniers should be thrown in jail. I don't know if he said worse than that, but I've heard a lot of Democrats say that. A lot of Democrats say that people should be thrown in jail for their belief systems, that they should be fined, that there should be laws against free speech, right? RFK Jr. Right. No, he's against it. He's against sheep vitamins, folks. That was one of the things that propelled him back into the public eye, was his battle, especially for children, to not have that crap. But, political science isn't really it's not hard science. It's kind of interesting, though, isn't it? Climate change deniers. Folks, we've got our hands full with this SHTF. Climate change, World War III, tactical weapons, right? Outbreaks, pandemics, educational destruction, legal destruction, military destruction. Whew. Yeah. Selective reasoning or selectively applied intelligence. I have wrestled with this concept for probably a couple of decades now. Why is it some people can appear smart in one way, but not on everything else? Like I've met physicians who are good at what they do with regard to their practice, but they're not good at other things, stuff that would seem simple. I've met businessmen that are great at their business. Their one business, that one thing they have focused in on, and they've got it. But beyond that, they don't know a whole lot. They're not dynamic individuals. And it could be that, well, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a smart fellow when it comes to some things, but he just doesn't or isn't capable of applying himself much more than that. Right? I probably 30 years ago, I was studying Leonardo da Vinci. He was the Renaissance man. Leonardo da Vinci was an artist, a painter, a sculptor. He was a chemist. He was an alchemist. He was a military planner. He was an architect. He was a designer. He was a mathematician. He designed military equipment. He designed and just say everyday objects. He designed a bicycle, a two-wheeled bicycle. And you're like, yeah, bicycles have two wheels. That's correct. The bicycles that first came out that became very popular and modern had that really big front wheel and an itty bitty tiny wheel. The Da Vinci bicycle, the Speedster, had two wheels of equal size. And it had a chain and sprocket arrangement. Whereas the original big wheel bicycle had pedals, kind of like a tricycle. You turn the pedals, it turned the wheel. But Da Vinci had had a gear ratio model, which is akin to the modern bicycle. Very smart guy, Renaissance man, understood everything. It's not all that common for someone to be able to understand more than one topic. Very interesting stuff. Now, when it comes to people who don't seem to understand anything more than what they're designed to, this came up and it was incredible, folks. The intelligence coming from this freaking clown. Remember Peter Strzok, Strzok. Sounds American to me. Peter Strzok is the disgraced FBI agent. This is the guy who was banging Lisa Page. They were texting back and forth how they're going to affect the election and control the election. Basically, they admitted to starting and participating in election interference using the power and authority of the FBI. Why didn't he get any jail time? Anyways, he has now come out. And it's incredible. Who is Peter Strzok and what is he doing on the media? Literally, why is he on the news? Well, he made it onto MSNBC. So it's not really the news, but it is on TV. But what did he have to say? He said, we need a special unit to protect FBI agents from Americans. Isn't it the FBI agents are supposed to be protecting the Americans? But now they need a special FBI unit to protect the FBI. from Americans. Folks, the Democrats, let me back up. You see, because Hunter Biden is actually being arrested and prosecuted, the FBI is now receiving threats. They're not receiving threats from me and you. They're not receiving threats from conservatives. They're not getting threats from libertarians. They're getting threats from Democrats, from left-wing lunatic fruitcakes. It is the Democrats who are threatening the LGB FBI. That's right. The Democrats are the terrorists. They're the anti-Americans. But I'm sure Peter Strzok wants a special unit of the FBI created. And how much do you want to bet that this new special unit would actually not be protecting the FBI from left-wing lunatics, but rather the far right will be monitored even closer and would be targeted by this special unit to protect the FBI from Americans? It's incredible. Isn't law enforcement supposed to be responsible for enforcing the law, making intelligent decisions, being careful? Unbelievable. It's not going to get better. Thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up down below. Internet address right up there. It's way up there. Internet address. Get that. Share it. Text. Email. Message. Carrier pigeon. Whatever it takes. Get that out there so people wake up. We've got some more great topics to cover. We're into the second hour, and we like to go 2 hours on Sunday Night Live. Let's do this. Let's do another Super Chat donation. And we want to get 400 people live. We've got Timothy Mahoney checking in with a $19.99 powerful Super Chat donation. He says, hey, hello. Been on the road a lot the past few months for work, and people everywhere don't seem to believe that a lockdown can happen again. A complete denial. Not sure where the false hope of shit won't get bad or worse again. I'll tell you what, Timothy, it's a fascinating topic. I'm glad you brought it up because we have this thing. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? What am I going to do? What is everyone going to do? And you say in your experience, because you've been traveling around, that people everywhere don't seem to believe that a lockdown can happen again. Well, see, the lockdown can happen again. They can try it. The federal government can say, oh my God, we got a pandemic, right? This is so deadly, someone could die. We could all die. We need to save grandma. If we can just save one child, right? Then pull all that shit again. It can happen. The federal government can ask for it. A governor in a state can order it, like Governor Gretchen Whitmer, or Governor Pritzker in Illinois, or Governor Gavin Newsom, or Inslet, or whatever the hell that jackass up in Washington is named. They can happen anywhere again. You are correct. The lockdowns can happen. The question is, will you obey it? They can lock down businesses. They can lock down beauty salons. Remember that locking down beauty salons? Yeah, it was fine for a week. Like 2 weeks later, people were like, hey, women especially were like, I need my hair done. They need their nails done. Yeah, all of a sudden we found out there were things like this, Timothy. Essential. You're not essential, so you must stay home locked down. Must stay home. They can crush people with that shit. People can go to work and they're told, no, you have to wear a mask. You need to go get your sheep vitamins before we let you come back to work. They said Providence Medical, they put up all that shit, dude. They put it up. And then they took it right back down and took it back. And they're like, oh, no, it's completely voluntary mandatory. Remember, they didn't just say it's mandatory. They said, look, you can be sent back home. You can be kept in suspension or even fired if you don't get your sheep vitamins. And then they took it all back. You are absolutely correct, Timothy. It can happen again. They can demand it, But will you comply? Will any of us comply? Will we comply here but not there? What about government buildings like the DMV? They may tell you, well, you can't get anything done. Okay, then we'll do it by the internet. We'll do it by mail. Or they could say, look, we're open, but you're going to wear a mask to come in. And you have to have the sheep vitamins before you can come in here. You need to be a good sheep. Are you going to obey? I mean, hey, at the DMV, that's a government building. If you want to do business with the government, you have to obey them, right? We're going to have some questions to answer, folks. We've got a lot of questions to answer. The false hope is that shit won't get bad or worse again. That is truly false hope if you believe that they won't try. I really believe they're going to try again, Timothy. They need to lock us down. They need to have a pandemic again. Funny how these come about every 4 years now. Funny, the timing for the lockdown in 2020 coincided, right, with the fact that no one was going to show up to Joe Biden's campaign trail. They put circles on the fucking grass. They locked everyone down. But they allowed all the protesters out there to peacefully protest by burning down courthouses, police stations, cars, and businesses, as well as burn, houses and murder people. Yeah, they can let it happen all again. And it can even be worse, Timothy. I hear you. Now, let me ask you this question. Perhaps we have lockdowns again. Perhaps we have riots again. Who wants to be the next fuck around and find out hero? Who wants that? Who wants to be the guy to go out and stop these clowns from committing their acts of violence? Right, who's going to do it? Has everyone forgotten his name? The young man who went up, tried helping people out, tried helping the town out, ended up getting chased down, had to shoot 2 freaks and injured a third, right? Killed 2. Remember that guy? Right? Are we going to do that? Are we going to allow it this time? I'll ask you this, Timothy. Are we going to allow it? Or are we going to go out and protect our cities and stop these fruitcakes? If the police won't stop them, will we? If they want to have a lockdown, are we going to disobey and say, bring it on, come and try and arrest us? It's an interesting question. Great topic, Timothy. And it's one that I think we're going to need to address and look into again and again and again. Very much crazy stuff. Okay, Jolene, where do we want to roll next? Holy cow, we're right at 400 people live. Let's make sure we top over the top fully. And Chin Music steps back in and he says, hey, Peter Strzok is a special unit. He really is, folks. He's a special unit. You know who should be guarding the FBI? Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, that's right. The guy I was just mentioning. He was trying to help. He was cleaning off bathrooms until he was threatened and he tried running for his life. The Kenosha Kid hat trick. That's right, Johnny Codanger. The Kenosha Kid hat trick. He shot 3 of the freaks, put 2 of them in the grave, blew the other's arm, his bicep clean off. The Kenosha Kid, yeah. He would be the one who could truly protect the FBI, right? From left-wing lunatics who would threaten them because they would actually do their job and try and put someone in jail like Hunter Biden. Anyways, thank you very much. Peter Strzok is indeed, folks, he is the evil elf. He's the one that testified in front of Congress, defied them, and sneered at them right? He like dropped his head and rolled his eyes up, made faces at him. That fucking guy. Incredible. Just incredible that he is not under arrest and in jail somewhere for what he did. I mean, hey, we've got to go after Trump. We've got to go after Trump's entire cabinet because, well, they question the election. Peter Strzok interferes with the election, starts a false investigation, lies, gets other people to lie with him, and gets 0 jail time. Good golly. Well, get this, folks. In Texas, they tried doing some nasties there too. The Texas House or Assembly, if you will, right? Their House of Representatives, the Assembly in Texas, well, they decided to impeach Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, because, well, he committed bribery. They had 16 articles of impeachment against him. 16. It took them almost 6 months. Then they impeached him, and they sent a stack of nothing to the Senate. So the Senate acquit him. Basically said, hey, no evidence. There's no crime. We're not going to try him. There's nothing to try him for. He is acquitted. Paxton, Attorney General for Texas, cleared on all charges. 16 charges. Crazy, huh? Crazy. So get this, Ken Paxton's attorney, whose name is, he's got a hell of a name, Tony Busby. His attorney went off, chewed up and down on the Rhino Republicans. This is literally, folks, a legal coup d'etat, trying to get him thrown out of office. They offered no evidence of a crime. The Senate trial ended. And this is what his attorney said. The Bush era ends today in the state of Texas. Well, what's he talking about? Well, as soon as they, folks, get this, as soon as they impeached Attorney General Ken Paxton, a guy named George P. Bush went to the state and activated his law license. George P. Bush thought that Ken Paxton was going to be tried and found guilty in the Senate, and that George P. Bush would step into politics in Texas at the state level. Well, folks, this legacy scumbag has lost out. I think the Bush clan have been outed. They outed themselves, folks. And I'm sorry to say that back, 2000, I supported Bush because he was the lesser of two weasels. He was the lesser of two weasels. Right? Was it that or Al Gore? Good God. This is the state of the nation. It really is, folks. This is where we're at. Where we're at. And I hope if you've got something you want to talk about, hit that super chat button up there. We're right at the 400 mark. I'd like to see it top over and make it good, honest, solid. So hit that URL, that internet address, get it up there, send it out to people, tell them to show up. It's time to wake the hell up, folks. And get this. Texas is seeing its own revolt, its own coup d'etat, its own political battle for its own soul inside. The House Speaker in Texas is a Republican. His name is Dade Phelan, or Felon. Interesting, Phelan. If I were to just look at that and say, oh, it means felon. Not Felon, it's Phelan. Sure sounds like felon to me. Anyways, this House Speaker in Texas is a rhino. And understand this. He has looked up to the Senate in Texas and threatened the senators who said, Attorney General Paxton, not guilty. He's threatening them. And this is what the House Speaker says to them. This is not the end. Those who allowed him, meaning Ken Paxton, to keep his office, the Attorney General, will have much to answer for. That's right, folks. in Texas, there's a fight. There's a fight for the heart and soul of that state. The Attorney General's office. The Attorney General is basically the top attorney, the top prosecutor at the state level. And that's what Ken Paxton, right, does. He's kind of like, Merrick Garland is the Attorney General for the United States. And you see how he has politicized his office with political attacks. Well, here we are, folks, in Texas. They don't want that power to be in a Republican or conservative's hands. Understand this, folks. Fights in our hometowns, in our county, in our state, they're much easier to influence and to win. I'll tell you what, Chin Music, get in there and fight. Everyone who can in Texas, get in there and fight. And then take the momentum from that win and use that momentum and yell and scream at Washington, D.C. Prep to action. And if you see the mainstream media out there on the street doing man-on-the-street interviews or covering things that are going on, be sure and tell them they're a bunch of stinking commies. All right? Ask them, hey, how's it feel to sell out America? Put them on the spot. Make them answer for what they're doing. But if you have a chance to meet one of these politicians, I recommend giving them a hell of a time. I'll tell you what, when I was just a young man out of the Marine Corps, I ran into the sheriff of my county, Amador County, California. Ran into the sheriff. And I said, what is going on? Because, well, if you remember, there was the assault weapons ban that they managed to pass with Dianne Feinstein, and Bill Clinton. They got it passed through, and they made getting high-capacity magazines and other things very hard. It was a huge, folks, infringement on our rights, an infringement on the Second Amendment. And I was pissed. And I caught the fucking sheriff. And I said, hey, what the hell is going on with this? And he's like, look, dude, he's very polite to me. He says, if you want, you go down to the sheriff's department, get yourself an application for a concealed weapons permit, and you can carry. I got no problem with that. You just got to take the course, pass it. And I was like, whoa. The sheriff, I thought he was going to argue with me. I thought he was going to tell me guns are bad, because I was in the state of California. But instead, he got me thinking, hey, take some action. Number one, prepare, take care of yourself. Get your own gun, get your own protection, right? And today I've carried that on to everything that you need. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. After meeting him, he was one hell of a nice guy. Sadly, he died a couple years later. While hunting bear, he had a heart attack. He was also a sheriff who was telling the IRS, get out of my county. He was taking them to the edge of the county and kicking them out, saying you don't have jurisdiction in our county. That was the story that was being told. He was taking back. This is during the original Patriot movement, folks, by the way. Interesting stuff. Interesting world. Things are going to get crazy again. Things are going to get nasty. They will get bad. We will get more lockdowns. We're going to get higher taxes. We're going to get more threats out of Washington. You bet. But we have a chance to fight back. And I think fighting locally is great. And then take that momentum and we just throw it at Washington, D.C. All right. Here we are. In Texas, right? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that they want to do that. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? How about this? Did you know? I covered this last week. I talked about straw breaking the camel's back. That in Italy, Salvini, one of their political leaders, says that it's a declaration of war on Europe to continue to bring immigrants into the country. right? Another 6,000, he was saying that was going to do it. What do we have here in America? We just had a woman try and climb over the 30-foot wall, fall off of it, and die. We've got a court, a judge saying, Texas, you are to get your barricades out of the middle of the river. You're not allowed to put barricades in the river to stop people from getting into America. We've got children, Latin children, whether they're from Mexico or other countries. We got people telling their children, get down, get on your bellies, climb under all of this razor wire to get into America. We have SHTF, folks. Shit has hit the fan. It's hit in America and it's hit in Europe. Do you find it suspicious at all? I do. I find it incredibly suspicious that the two most wealthy and prosperous areas of the world, the United States of America and Europe, the European Union, are European Western civilization safety zones, or they were. And now they no longer are because of this invasion that has happened from third world shithole countries. Europe is at the end of the rope. Salvini says these people coming in is like a war on Europe. New York at first applauded letting in all of those great people from down south. Now they're saying our city's collapsing. The people are pissed off, screaming and yelling. Literally screaming and yelling at the government. Even their own elected scumbag socialists like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're claiming they can't pay for anything. And then you look at a city like Los Angeles that's going to pay $44,000 per tent at their little tent city that they've made for the homeless. On the one hand, they're saying they can't pay for anything. They're out of money. On the next hand, they're doing just that. Just blowing money left and right for a homeless, for illegals. They're putting illegal immigrants in hotels and they're destroying the hotels. They're putting them in schools. Your tax money, my tax money, our tax money we paid for decades now is going to pay for housing for these illegals and not pay for education in schools. We have one hell of a mess on our hands, folks. That camel, his back is getting mighty tired. Mighty tired. But that same camel, us, you, me, America, not to mention the other camels in the world like Europe, right? We're being told we have to bear the burden of these illegals. And we're going to have to bear the burden of another lockdown, another pandemic. I don't know. Right? This is where we're at, folks. I mean, it's incredible that, well, last week, did we or did we not hear from the Speaker of the House, Kevin Do Jack Shit McCarthy? Kevin Do Nothing McCarthy. Kevin Drag Your Fucking Feet McCarthy about an impeachment inquiry. Well, here we have, folks. We have Mike Davis, who is a political pundit, a commenter. And he's looking at the House and he's saying, if you don't think we should move forward now on impeachment, quote, what the hell are you doing as an elected member of the House? It just absolutely kills me. They're still not pushing forward. They're still not going great guns forward on this. Right? There's a whole lot more, right? Hunter, Joe, China, Russia, Afghanistan, the border, Hawaii, Taiwan, Niger, Ukraine, genocide, Zelensky's Nazis. They're all part of Biden's corruption. How much more do they need? How weak are these people in Congress? When government is both all powerful on the one hand And then on the other hand, they appear absolutely weak, like little mice. What does that tell us? What kind of trouble are we in? Who's running the show? Right? Law enforcement, hell, FBI, they'll come to your house. The IRS, they'll come to your business. They'll kick down the door. They'll steal your records. They'll handcuff you to your deck. They'll pin you to the ground. They'll hold guns to you and your kids. Who's running this country, folks? It's not the House Republicans. It's the bureaucracy. The FBI, the IRS, the Department of Homeland Security, Immigrations and Customs. It is the White House pushing their agenda all over us. And who's running the White House? It's not Joe Biden. It's Barack. It's George Soros. It's people behind the scenes who are powerful, like the Bushes and the Clintons. It's the banking cartels. They're the ones really pulling the string. The House of Representatives doesn't come to your house and arrest you. The House of Representatives doesn't come to your boss and demand your paycheck and taxes. It's the bureaucracy. They're the ones who are out here. There's 435 congressmen. There's 100 senators. There's tens of thousands of federal government's goons and agents who are the bureaucracy, who will send you letters in the mail and shut you down, and they're the ones destroying this fucking country. The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Do you think they're on your side? Do you think they're making America great again? How about the Transportation Department, the Secretary of Transportation? There it is. How about the State Department? You think they're doing a good job? How about the Pentagon? Who's running the country, folks? Well, don't worry. We've got Mike Pence who wants to run for president. Yeah, we're saved now. We're saved now, right? If we don't defeat, or if Ukraine doesn't defeat Russia, he's saying that Russia will expand their invasion and America is going to have to send its boys in there to fight. Mike Pence, just like our good buddy, Lighten the Loafers, Lindsey Graham. Mike Pence is turning into a war hawk. And he says the U.S. military, well, they're going to have to fight if Ukraine loses the war. Isn't this fascinating? We all know Ukraine's losing the war. They're telling us we're going to have to go fight if they lose. We're being told we have to give them bigger, better, powerful weapons, or they're going to lose the war. The one recurring theme is they're going to lose the fucking war. Right? Ukraine is recruiting old men now. They're not just recruiting them, folks. They're conscripting them, forcing them to enlist and go fight. This is genocide, folks. It's unbelievable to me. It truly is. And they want to silence you. Shh. I think I've told you that Benjamin Franklin, 50 years prior to 1776, he was writing in a newspaper under a pen name, a false name, because of their issues with censorship. He wrote under the name Silence Do-Good. Isn't that kind of interesting? Silence, as in censorship, and do good, right? Do some good. Yeah, silence, do good. We need to stand up and not be silent, because what follows silence is tyranny and things that aren't good. Absolutely not good. Mike Pence wants to go to war. Yeah, do you think he's going to go fight? No, not at all. And within the ranks of the elites, they're no longer brave. For example, John McCain, right? He was a supposed war hero. right? Joe Biden's son, Hunter, well, he went in the military, was given a cushy little job, still couldn't handle himself, became a cocaine addict, and got kicked out. But it used to be that politicians' sons, the sons of politicians and the wealthy, would go in the military to prove their, how do we put this? Prove their patriotism for the country. Now they aren't patriotic, folks. They don't serve. They just send you and me and our kids off to war. It's unbelievable what's going on, folks. Unbelievable. Okay, it is your show. It is Sunday Night Live. We're past the 90-minute mark. We're down to the last 20 minutes. We can keep on going. I've got more topics to cover here, but it is your show. Hit that super chat button. Tell me what you want to talk about, your topic, whatever you've got. This is your show. Otherwise, we're going to continue with my stuff, what I think is important. Kind of like this. Remember when the Dodgers invited, and this was just a few months ago, but it seemed like it was the zenith, the very top, the top of the arch for all these left-wing, fruit salad, LGBTQ sickos to shove shit in our faces. Remember when the LA Dodgers honored the freaks known as the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which was a perverted drag queen group? They dressed like some sort of satanic nuns. And at first, the Dodgers said, we don't want you to come to the park. And then they were protested. So they turned around and let them in and pissed off everybody. Well, get this. The Honorable Freaks, one of the members of the Sisters of Perpetual Perverted Indulgence, was arrested for jerking off nude at a public California park. That's who these people are, folks. Who is Jeffrey Epstein? Who was Jeffrey Epstein? Who is Bill Clinton? Who is Anthony Weiner? Who is Michelle Michael Obama? Who are these people, folks? Who are they? Who is Kevin McCarthy? Who are the anti-Catholic Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence? They're a bunch of sick fucks. Who are the teachers? Who are the school boards? Who are the principals for allowing all of this crap into the schools? Who is Merrick Garland, whose son or son-in-law creates the pornographic material that gets sold to schools to put in front of children in order to pervert them? Who are the banks? Who are the major corporations? Who is on Wall Street? Get this, folks. PayPal. You know PayPal. I'm not a big lover of PayPal. PayPal is now being scrutinized, folks, because they have links to a Palestinian terror group. PayPal is a massive online bank. It used to be just this cute little thing, it seemed like anyways. This cute little thing, PayPal. Well, you give PayPal a little money, and then PayPal, you can pay other people with PayPal. It's literally a bank, folks. Give them your social security number. They're linked to your bank. Oh, they're like a disease. Once you get it, it's hard to cure it and get rid of it. They now have your information. They can sell it. They can leak it. They can fuck with your bank. A lot of us, they don't do anything with PayPal anymore. But PayPal, folks, is tied to Palestinian terror groups. And senators in the United States government, well, they have a chance to take action. PayPal has shut down good people, good Americans. Good people, good patriots, because PayPal is a bunch of woke tyrants. Just like these banks are shutting down people who are selling guns, gold, jewelry, right? If they don't like your political affiliation, they'll shut down your business. Then they'll shut down your friends, your family's bank accounts. Isn't that incredible? People with completely different social security numbers. The accounts are opened for spouses, other family members. They're not even linked to the business. They shut them all down. And then we see and hear, oh, look, PayPal. They're tied to a Palestinian terror group. How interesting is that? Kind of like Senator John McCain was supporting, financing, posing with, meeting with people in Syria who are what? Attacking Christians, beheading children. This is our government, folks. They are sick and that perverted. That's sick and perverted. Oh, yeah, PayPal also. Did they ban the president of the United States? I know they banned the Gateway Pundit. I know that. But they have no problem processing payments for the Alliance for Global Justice, the AFGJ, Alliance for Global Justice. That sounds really innocuous, right? No, sorry, they're a super left-wing group. And they're connected to the terrorist organization Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. How interesting is that? So Senator Cruz, Senator Marco Rubio, they want to investigate it and said, yeah, we're going to investigate PayPal. Because their policy says that the use of tools for, quote, promoting hatred, violence, racism, or any other form of discriminatory intolerance, or for the financial exploitation of a crime. They prohibit that. Yet here they are, processing payments for a super left-wing scumbag group that wants to, well, fund a terrorist group, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. You see, I'm promoting hatred. Why did they kill my account? I don't promote hatred or violence or racism or discriminatory intolerance. What the fuck does that mean? It would appear to me that PayPal and other banks are using discriminatory intolerance against conservatives, Christians, patriots. Now, Senator Cruz, you guys know Senator Cruz, right? Senator Cruz of, you can kiss my ass.
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she's required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
There it is. This is Senator Cruz. He says, quote, PayPal should clearly and immediately sever ties with any group linked to Palestinian terrorism. Big tech companies are not exempt from American laws. I tell you what, if they're aiding and abetting terrorism, they should be stopped right now. They should have their licenses revoked. PayPal. They should have their doors shut and locked. Don't give them a chance to clearly and immediately sever ties with any group. Did they give me a chance? Did they give the doctors, physicians, and other healthcare people out there that I know of a chance? Oh, they've shut down all kinds of people, folks, because, PayPal. They're the arbiters of goodness out there. Now, here's another quote from our dear senators. No individual or U.S. company should be funding Palestinian terrorist organizations that seek to harm innocent Israelis. How about this? They shouldn't be funding Palestinian terrorist organizations that seek to harm any Israelis, whether they're innocent or not. It's called terrorism. And then he says, I'll call on the Department of the Treasury to scrutinize this arrangement. Oh, okay. We're going to call Janet Yellen. She's going to fix everything? Oh, my goodness. What a bunch of shit. So we got another left-wing banking stooge that works for Joe Biden. and they're going to fix this deal. Well, I'm sure what he'll do is Joe Biden will go over to PayPal and go, hey, you want to give those terrorists $100 million, huh? Where's the big guy's 10%? Don't make me get Hunter on you. Oh, my goodness, folks. It just gets crazier and crazier. Let's do this. Let's do another super chat donation and see what the heck is going on in your guys' world. What do you want to talk about? And it is Damian English. Good to see you come back. He's got a $20 super chat donation. He hit that button up there, made a donation. Now his words are on the screen. Now, he says, have you heard of old hair gel Newsom? He's talking about Governor Gavin Scumbag Newsom in California. He says, have you heard of old hair gel Newsom getting smacked down in the courts over his bill to limit the sale of and ads for AR rifles, weaponizing the second to limit the first? I'll tell you what, Damien, I've heard a little bit about it. What's killing me about Gavin Newsom or Governor Prickster in Illinois or the alcohol and tobacco and firearms or this state or that state or the other is we're continuing to get it. The governor of New Mexico is one of the most recent examples of the egregious overstepping by an elected official or a bureaucratic institution. They know what they're doing is a violation. Now, if it wasn't, Gavin Newsom wouldn't be the first person trying to limit the sale of or create advertisement for AR rifles. You know, he's not brilliant, right? I mean, he's a dumbass. So there would be other governors trying to do the same thing already. There'd be leaders out in front, right? A dipshit there in New Mexico, the governor, whatever her name is, if proclaiming a medical emergency because someone's been murdered was satisfactory justification for removing other people's right to self-defense, then New Mexico wouldn't have been the first, and it wouldn't have taken till 2023 for it to happen. It would have happened back in 1993 or 1943. You see what I'm saying? It's there's so much going on. These people know better, yet they're continuing to push it. They are knowingly, intentionally violating your rights, Damien, and mine, with these antics of, well, we're the government and we're going to do what we want, and you have to fight us in court and spend your money in order to prove us wrong. The Second Amendment didn't fucking change from 1789 till now, right? It's been there the whole time. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Are you going to give up your guns? Are you going to give up your right to life, to breathe air, to travel about? Are you going to give up your right? Are you going to abandon freedom and liberty for yourself and your family? Are you going to give up on your city, your town, your state? Or are you going to fight back politically? Fight back intellectually? Get prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, your means of self-defense, and then prep to action. Are you going to give up? Or are you going to keep fighting these people? Right? Their banks are going to fund terrorism. They're going to hurt patriots. Their doctors are going to prescribe to you and say, oh, yeah, you better take your sheep vitamins. They're going to keep telling you that you have committed the egregious crime of destroying the environment. I mean, the just it is completely disrespectful. It's dishonest. It's intellectually dishonest. These people with their logical fallacies and everything they're doing. Absolutely everything they're doing. And we can't get a straight answer. We don't know what the hell's going on. Damian English, thank you very much, man. Great super chat donation. Keeping the Prepared Mind pantry full of Spam, tuna fish, and, of course, a good supply of scotch. Very important. Now, we can't trust the government. We can't. Is Russia the enemy or not? Get this, folks. In Russia, they have a space program. The Soyuz MS-24 blasted into outer space last week. Did you know that? Yeah, just like India and China, unlike Ukraine, Russia has a space program. In fact, they've had one. That spaceship has lifted off. It is now docked with the International Space Station. That's right, the Soyuz MS-24. It's carrying 2 Russian cosmonauts and also 1 American astronaut. Why do they have cosmonauts, and we have astronauts? Why can't they just all be fucking astronauts? Anyways, they call them cosmonauts. So we, the country of the United States of America, sent one of our astronauts to Russia. And Russia said, yeah, come on, get on our rocket. We'll shoot you into space to the International Space Station. What's the deal? The United States government under Biden, they want to assassinate Putin. Putin bad. They want to kill as many Russians as they can. They think it's the best money they've ever spent in the military. They want to bomb Russia. They want to bomb their seaports, bomb their navy. But hey, Russia, please give us a ride to space, huh? Give the U.S. two-knots, the us two-knots, right? We don't have our own rockets to get into space knots. What the hell is going on, right? What's the deal with this? We're going to go to war with them. We want to give more bombs, super duper technical bombs to Ukraine to start killing more Russians. Yet we want to go on their spaceships. Is this all for show? Or are there different games for different levels? Oh, well, in space, we're in peace. So now we're cool. Oh, by the way, the United States of America and Europe are still getting their uranium, their enriched uranium pellets for nuclear reactors. They're still getting them from Russia. Did you know that? That's right. We're still getting our nuclear power from Russia. The rest of the world is still getting oil from Russia. The rest of the world and Europe is still getting natural gas and coal from Russia. And we're sending our astronauts into space on Russian rockets. Tune in next week as aliens invade Ukraine and General Hunter Biden is to lead our troops against the aliens who have sided with the Russians. What are we supposed to believe? I mean, it's off the hook stupid what is going on. I don't know who's lying and who's telling the truth in government. My thing is, I don't trust any of these pricks. I really don't. Right? We're supposed to trust doctors. Yet, over in Belgium, a woman is screaming, and her loved ones heard it. She was suffocated with a pillow, folks, as her family listened to this. Woman was euthanized, folks. In other words, she was put down. She was killed. Euthanasia is the practice of killing people mercifully. Well, it sounds like death by government using assault pillows. Folks, pillows must be outlawed, especially assault pillows. But seriously, the horror of this, folks. Suffocated with a pillow is how the government wants to put you down. I guess you're probably better off being killed by, I don't know, Nazis by having a bullet put in the back of your head than to be slowly suffocated with a fucking pillow. That's a mercy killing, folks. That's your government. Good God. We're being lied to left and right. Folks, Karine Jean-Pierre, idiot White House spokesman extraordinaire. She's now covering for Biden and his dementia. The fact that he's grossly incompetent and incapable of doing the job. She says that 80 is the new 40. That's how she's excusing away his age and his medical condition. That's right. The head full of curly fries, dipshit, Karine Jean-Pierre. That's her answer. This country's in big trouble, folks. Big trouble. News article just came in. The governor of New Mexico has finally removed all exceptions to her self-defense Second Amendment carry ban, her emergency order. Now, if you want an emergency, go right ahead. Taking people's rights, not so much. There's a big question, though, right now that's come up. There's a huge question. Is our rights absolute? I watched that come up earlier. Are our rights absolute? The right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, those seem pretty much right up there at the top, right? Well, you have a right to life. Well, unless they need to euthanize you. You have a right to your liberties, your freedoms, like the freedom to travel, the freedom to own property, right? The freedom to be safe and secure from government intruding into your life and killing you. Well, the government begs to differ, folks. They think your rights are not absolute, that any right can be turned into a mere privilege. Now, I got something I want to end tonight's show with. I want to thank everyone who has done super chat donations, buying me a delicious can of Spam. Well, buying Jolene some ice cream. Now, folks, your right to have Spam is being violated. That's right. The United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, another bureaucracy. Imagine that. They don't outlaw Spam in Congress, folks. The president doesn't sign an emergency Spam order. It is the bureaucracy that runs around and says, we're the bureaucracy. We have badges and guns, and we're going to shoot you. We're going to lock you up. The USDA has issued a public health alert for Spam. That's right, folks, Spam. Canned Spam. Hormel Foods Corporation, the producer of Spam, had inadvertently shipped products that may not have been adequately processed. Well, the Spam in question was produced on August 17th. I'm going to do this as a public service announcement. The lot code for the affected product is A08173, and it's printed on the bottom of the can. What I'm telling you right now, folks, is they've come after chickens. They've come after eggs. They want to get your beef. And now they want your Spam. They're trying to stop us preppers, folks. You should not be eating Spam. You should be eating impossible meat. You should be eating processed crickets. What a fucking trippy world we're in. Is it or is it not? All right, everybody. It is the end of the show. I want to thank you for your great support, and we need all of your support. We need to support one another. You need to get out there and support Washington, D.C., not by giving into them and saying, you guys are a bunch of fantastic people. No, we need to be criticizing them and supporting them with morality and an expectation that they obey and live up to their oaths and their duties. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed. Semper Fi. I'll see you 0 dark 30 tomorrow.